Welcome to our AUS elections debates. We're going to be starting first with the Senate debate. And so the candidates will have a minute and a half to introduce themselves, why they're running, and give us a bit of their platform. So we will start with Ika.
Hi, my name is Ekaterina Baranovskaya. I'm a third-year political science student, and I'm one of the candidates for Senate. My platform is based on realistic and positive change that the Senate can achieve, focusing on wellness from a Senate academic perspective. My main platform points are redefining examination hardships, having exams be released before the drop date, having more invigorating first-year classes, and ensuring that UBC cannot punish misconduct conducted outside of UBC land.
Awesome. Mary?
Hi, my name is Mary Leong, and I'm a fourth-year political science and psychology student, and I'm running to be on Senate because I've had diverse experiences working with students and with the faculty, and I believe that my experiences on both sides will allow me to best represent students and lobby for students' issues. My platform is based on targeting issues that affect students most. For example, I believe that Senate should be heavily involved in the process of determining causes of student stress and academic stress, and thank you, AJ. And where was I? Determining causes of academic stress and using what Senate can do to implement those changes. Secondly, I believe in a better transition-based support system for students before they even get to UBC. And thirdly, I believe that there should be greater student involvement in the broad-based admission process. So more consultations with students, talking to students who've been admitted to UBC through the process.
Fantastic. So for each of the questions, I only have 4 of them. We'll see if more come up and how long they take. But we'll give each candidate a minute and a half to answer the question, followed by 30-second rebuttals in the opposite order, if you want to take them. So, as you know, the Senate is a rather slow-moving body. Most senators have a 3-year term, while student senators only sit for a 1-year term. What do you think is the biggest thing a senator can do in such a short time frame, and how do you best work within such a short time frame? So we'll start with Mary this time.
So one thing that you mentioned was how Senate is a slow-moving body. And I think in order to combat that and to make sure that students actually know what's going on in the Senate, one of the things that I will push for, which isn't one of my main platform points, is actually to start a student Senate caucus blog and to allow people to know what's going on and to ensure that there is that transparency so people who are interested in Senate can kind of follow on so that it is a continuity between students who do aspire to work on such issues and students who are currently on Senate. And I think one of the things that is very realistic that we can continue working on is the broad-based admissions, since it is currently being rolled out to all faculties, and ARTS just implemented it this year. I think one of the biggest things we can do is to make sure that there are students being consulted on that process, especially students who were admitted to UBC through that process, because they have experience with the questions, they have experience with what's being asked, and we can see if the application actually did prepare them more adequately to be a UBC student.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so like said before, Senate is a slow-moving body, and unfortunately in some cases that is how it has to be, because Senate doesn't meet very frequently, but it has a lot to talk about. Part of the way I want to make Senate move more efficiently is lower the workload on Senate and move it to the students. For instance, one of the things implemented by the Senate at UBC Okanagan was an academic misconduct system that focuses on learning and peer support, rather than the university being the one that punishes you. Things like this actually free up the time of Senate to deal with other very important issues. Like Mary's platform point and like some of the things said by the candidates in the AMS Senate, I also want to increase Senate's visibility on social media, mostly through my own blog and my own Facebook. So students at least know what's going on, and I want to be able to consult with more students about what's going on in Senate. I know not a lot of people have awareness of what Senate does. One of the things I've done about that is yesterday I had a day of tweeting Senate-related facts. Hopefully you guys found that fun. Yes.
Awesome. Mary, did you have a response at all?
My only question is, if you're planning on doing it through your own personal platforms, how do you establish a difference between yourself as an individual and your position as a member of Senate?
The way is, a lot of times, bodies like Senate can seem very foreign. What I want to do is do it in gradual steps. So first have the people who know me know that they have somebody who they recognize who's part of this body. So it doesn't seem like a group of strangers debating issues about people. I want to be able to expand my social network, and then through that, seeing what type of response I get, slowly move towards that sort of slightly more impersonal, official Senate blog.
Awesome. Did you have any questions for Mary?
No, I don't.
Perfect. All right, question 2. What do you think the most important issue, either already on the Senate's plate or that you think will be coming to Senate within your term is? You can. Remember where we started.
There are actually quite a few. Broad-based admissions is a big one. Last year, 10% of students were admitted through broad-based admissions. This year, it was 25%, and it's only going to grow. I think this is an excellent, very important topic for Senate to be debating, and I want to be able to ensure that it has as much student feedback as possible. Other than that, I think that cushioning for international and transfer students is also very vital. 12% of UBC students are international students, and while there are good programs, I think there's more Senate can be doing. The biggest concrete issue I think that's coming up is the misconduct outside of UBC grounds. This was something that came to light with the Vancouver Canucks riot, and it's my personal opinion that opens some very tricky doors, and UBC should under no circumstances be allowed to punish its own students for what it does outside of the school. For political protests and similar things, it opens a very questionable debate.
Fantastic. Mary?
I think one of the major things that the Senate should undertake over the next year, especially in light of the recent NCHA, the National College Health Assessment results in 2011, is a greater focus on mental health issues and a very tangible taking a very tangible step towards that, because right now, I know there's been a lot of talk about it, and it's an issue that everyone knows about, but Senate's actually really well positioned as a body that can make concrete changes to the curriculum, to the way academics are structured at UBC, to release of exam dates, things like that. It's actually a body that can make these changes, and so I think the first step is establishing a commission towards investigating the causes of student academic stress, and using those findings, so this will be very, very research-based, tangibly using those findings and those results to create changes in where students have expressed that they're facing the most challenges. So I think this is an issue that's been very, very long-term. We've seen this over past surveys, and the results always come back and it's always the same. UBC students consistently report a higher than average rate of mental health issues and academic stress, and I think this is a really, really big concern that, it's been repeated so many times, but there still isn't really much movement on it, and so I think that's one of the big things that Senate should start moving on.
Perfect. Do you have a follow-up, Bill?
I do, just on the issue of wellness, I want to also recognize that the UBC Senate has been doing some things to combat this wellness. The definition of examination hardships, while I think it's not sufficient, is a step in the right direction. The broad-based admissions initiative is one that creates a UBC community that's more focused in wellness, in that it creates sort of niches for students who are, say, more interested in painting, students who are quieter and sort of shy readers. It has those niches within the community that do increase student wellness, because finding friends is one of the things that majorly contributes to wellness at UBC.
Fantastic. Anything else, Mary?
Just on that note, with broad-based admissions, I just think it's a really, really good, positive step in the right direction. Just the only thing that is a little concerning on that note is the fact that the President's Entrance Scholarships have been reallocated, and there are no financial awards for incoming students now based on the broad-based admission system, so that's something that is quite concerning, especially from a financial and and a financial burden standpoint for students who are coming to UBC. So that is something else that needs to be looked at.
Fantastic. My third question is more on a personal skill level. You talked about what you want to see the Senate accomplish. What skills or qualities do you possess that will allow you to be the best student senator for the Faculty of Arts? Mary's turn first.
Okay. Well, I've worked with students on the AUS for the past 3 years, and I've worked with ResLive, and I've basically worked with students on a really broad range of involvement opportunities on campus. So I know students who are really, really involved, and I also know students who, are not quite so and are perfectly happy with that. And so I understand the needs of students on a really, really broad range. And at the same time, I've also worked with the Faculty of Arts for 1.5 years. So I understand the faculty and administrative perspectives as well. And I believe that understanding that perspective is really, really key to being able to lobby effectively for student issues, because if you know the rationale behind why some of the policies are being implemented, you can better, you can better target them and say, hey, students actually care about this, and this is why it fits in with what you're interested in. It's a lot of negotiation, and I think it requires actually understanding both sides of the coin to achieve that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, I think that I have the ambition and the drive to be the best UBC Arts Senator. I started this year as a student at large on the University and External Affairs Committee, and I'm finishing it as chair of that same committee. I have been able to take everything that I undertake and do it to the best of my ability. I have been able to work professionally with members of the faculty. I've been able to work professionally with members of the staff. I have a passion for involvement. In fact, one of the things I'm doing right now on the University and External Affairs Committee is I'm restructuring it to allow the students themselves, even the members at large, to take on their own initiatives and to make real changes at the university. I have a passion for student life. I have a passion for university relations, as nerdy as that sounds. And I think that I have the drive and the patience to be able to see through the Senate initiatives.
Yes? Any rebuttals? So the Senate is just one of the many governing bodies at the institution. What do you see the relationship between the AMS and the Senate, as well as the Senate and the Board of Governors looking like? So you can address them as one or as two separate pieces. I don't know who's first.
I'll answer.
Okay.
That's actually, I'm glad you asked that, because one of the things that we've been implementing on my AMS committee, the University and External Affairs Committee, is a new policy-making checklist that includes working with Senate and the Board of Governors. So the idea is that from our end, the decisions we make, we don't make them without consultation. One of the things that happened at the beginning of the year with Senate was the issue of honorary degrees to the Japanese students interned during the World Wars. And the main thing I came out of that was there was not enough communication with Senate. With my experience on the AMS and the AUS, I know from many points of view how the communication process works. And I would, as an art student senator, make sure that we have representation on all of the AMS committees and make sure that we have increased conversation with the Board of Governors so all AMS policy can work much smoother in the future.
Fantastic.
From my perspective, Senate basically deals with academic issues at a university, and the vast majority of students who are at UBC, we can talk as much as we like about student involvement and about students getting really passionate about all these issues, but the majority of students are here to learn and finish a degree. And so I think that vein should tie into both the AMS and the Board of Governors. All decisions that are made should reflect the best interests of students and how they can learn best at this university. And so be it, with board discussing things like land use, the consideration of how their decisions will impact students' tangible everyday learning experience at UBC should be considered. And likewise with the AMS in terms of their discussions and in terms of, be it talking about the building a new bus loop or a new sub, all of these things should tie into how will students be able to learn better, how will all these things enable students to stay on campus more comfortably, how will this enable students to get to school more easily and more affordably, and in turn will actually improve their academic experience at UBC.
Do you have a rebuttal?
I would actually like to add on that, as outlined by Stephen Toop's opening remarks at Senate September session, involvement at UBC is growing. Students are caring more than ever about these issues, and they're going through many different realms, so it is vital to increase the communication between Senate and these other governing bodies, because students aren't all going to go to Senate for their opinions. The students that are being involved are going to the AUS, they're going to the AMS, they're sending remarks to the Board of Governors, so the issue of communication is key.
Anything to add, Mary?
I would like to fully agree with the fact that students are getting involved, but they're also getting involved through avenues that are not necessarily your typical student government involvement avenues. They're getting involved through ways that are incorporated in their courses, like community service learning aspects. They're getting involved through E3 experiences that are provided through the faculties, and so these are all other aspects that we need to take into consideration. And as much as we can say that students are getting really involved, we need to see where this involvement is coming from, and a lot of it is coming from faculty initiatives.
Fantastic. Okay, I have one final question, and what does it mean to be the arts student senator versus just a student senator at large? What will you do to make sure that the voice of arts students is best represented by having you sit on the Senate? Mary will go first.
Well, firstly, I'm really proud of being an arts student. I've really enjoyed being an arts student, and I really enjoy working with the arts community at large, and I think that my time working in the arts community means that I have a greater understanding of all the issues that it entails on both a student and faculty level, and I can more effectively bring these issues to the table. And arts, as such a large faculty, has a lot of unique circumstances, such as the fact that the programs are so incredibly diverse, and that students within the faculty have such different needs in terms of what they have, like in terms of learning needs. You're talking to visual arts students and you're talking to geography students. It's a completely different sets of needs and opportunities that these students are getting. And I think that understanding this breadth and depth of the Faculty of Arts will allow me to best put myself out there and represent the faculty as a whole.
Fantastic.
Well, I have some experience representing art students already as an arts representative on the Alma Mater Society, and arts is actually in a very particular position when it comes to Senate. Examination hardships, the fact that right now you can have an exam at 8 a.m. one day, 7 p.m. the next day, and 8 a.m. the day after, and that doesn't count as a hardship, is completely ridiculous. When you're in arts, you have a diverse set of courses. You can be taking 3 English classes that require you to think in 3 completely different ways, and it is honestly a wellness issue to have to switch between those in such a rapid time frame. First year classes and having more diverse first year classes is key for arts. When you're 1 in 500 students, it's difficult to feel like your voice is going to be heard. When that's your first experience at UBC, it can be disheartening, it can be intimidating, and I believe that as an arts senator, it's completely vital to push for more engaging first year classes, so when they come through the university, they're already coming into a bit more of a community where they feel like they can interact more with their professors and with their peers.
Fantastic. Can we follow up?
Yes, actually. Speaking to the first year classes thing, I think it's really, really positive that that's something you're focusing on. But there's already been a lot of effort towards making first year classes more inclusive and smaller classes. Like, for example, all students have to take either ASTU 100 or ASTU 150, which are big courses which allow students to have a small classroom experience by having seminar courses, like discussion groups, which not all first year courses do. And by saying that students have to take one of these 2 courses, it provides that opportunity for them to have that experience in their first year, and it's only going to expand on from there. And I think it's important to push for that, but it's also important to note that there is work being done on that.
Yeah, I would actually like to say that there is being work on that, but my point is that we have to further it. Right now, what's going on with the Teaching and Learning Committee at the Senate is they're working on a comprehensive plan to enrich student experience. This is going from first year to 4th year, and part of one of my platform points on Senate is I want to be on that committee to really help this. The enrichment of the learning experience is vital, and honestly, you can never say that what we have is good enough.
Fantastic. So I'll give you both 30 seconds as closing remarks, unless anyone has any pressing questions. We did start a little late. I don't want to get too behind. Excellent. So I'll give you both 30 seconds for closing remarks. Mary, why don't you go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mary Leong, and I'm running to be Art Student Senator. I like baby red pandas, and I like baking. I also care about student mental health, and I'm going to push for the Senate to be more actively involved in figuring out the causes of student academic stress, and I'm also going to work on greater transition-based support for students before they even get to UBC. And I'm also pushing for greater broad-based admissions involvement from students, so talking to students who've actually been admitted to UBC through the broad-based admissions system. And I hope that you'll vote for me. Otherwise, you can check out my full platform on votemaryleong.wordpress.com.
Hi, my name is Ekaterina Baranovskaya, and I'm running to be your Art Student Senator. I'm pushing for Senate to be for the students and controlled by the students, with my platform points ranging from wellness, academic enrichment, and academic misconduct policy that reflects the realities of UBC. I hope you consider voting for me. Thank you.
Cool. So that wraps up our Senate debate. We'll just switch where everyone's sitting, and then we'll start with the VP admin debate.